Hey everybody, I want to talk to you today about this idea of gentleness with the self. I am really into teaching people how to be gentle with themselves. And a lot of times I have people who do not even know what those words mean. Trust me, I get it. As a perfectionist myself, those of us who are perfectionistic tend to have a really hard time knowing how to be kind to ourselves. And so I wanted to make a video specifically for people who are at the point in their self-growth, their self-healing, their self-work, where they know they need to be gentle with themselves, but they don't perhaps know quite how to do that. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Being gentle with yourself is important because you truly cannot get anything achieved by hating yourself there. You cannot hate yourself to a better life. You can't hate yourself to fulfillment. You can't hate yourself to self-actualization. You can't hate yourself into a better relationship, a better job. You can't hate yourself into a happier life circumstance. You can't hate yourself to anywhere except for more self-hatred. You can't hate yourself to anywhere except to depression or rock bottom, really. So if you are on your soul's journey, if you are realizing that you want to make a change in your life, if you are coming to the conclusion that things in your life are not where you want them to be, that you're not okay, that you're not happy, that you're not living the life that your soul intended you to live, it's time to figure out, well, what do we do about that? And honestly, I really believe that the most fundamental thing, the most important thing you can do is be willing to be gentle with yourself. Be willing to be kind to yourself. Be willing to say, what if I am worthy of love? What if I'm not so bad after all? Our culture, and you guys know I'm obsessed with this, but our culture is one that's really just steeping in abuse. It's steeping in toxicity. It's steeping in teaching us ways to harm ourselves, drag ourselves down. Some of us had that compounded through our upbringing or through our interpersonal relationships as we've gone through life. We've only received the messages about how we're not. We've only received the messages about what we lack. We've only received the feedback about the ways in which we're broken or damaged. We haven't been told enough, and therefore we haven't told ourselves enough that perhaps we're worthy of love, kindness, respect, basic human dignity on some levels. The culture doesn't really teach us how to uplift ourselves. And, you know, that paradigm is beginning to shift through a lot of activism that's out there and stuff like that. But it's still shifting. And there's still a lot of people out there perpetuating abuse in one form or another. The sad thing is when we take that message and we perpetuate abuse towards ourselves. I have other videos that talk about how we behave towards others, and you can go ahead and look those up. But today I'm just going to focus on how we harm ourselves with our negative internal dialogue and how it's not okay. But I want to say a caveat to this is you can still love yourself, find yourself worthy, be gentle with yourself, even if you don't like some of your behavior. Can you hear that again? You can still love yourself. You do still have worth. You are still fundamentally a good and worthy human being, even if you don't always like some of your behaviors. Okay? Part of undoing the ways in which we harm ourselves is being willing to look at our truth, see ourselves, and to say, I don't like this about myself, so I'm going to shift it. See, that sentence alone is an example of gentleness with the self. Because when you are used to self-hatred being your default. You discover something you don't like about yourself and you berate yourself for it. You hate yourself for it. Your internal mental dialogue brings you farther and farther down. When you have decided to shift into a self-love paradigm, into a paradigm of love in general, whether it's self-love or love for others or just a loving, abundant paradigm, when you've decided to shift from an abuse, scarcity paradigm, internally and externally, and into an abundance, love paradigm, internally and externally, the same behavior has a different reaction. Okay, so let's say you are acting out and you're yelling at someone and you're behaving in a way that you don't like. When you're in the scarcity, abuse, fundamentally negative paradigm, you see your behavior, you don't like it, and you use it to hate yourself more. What that does is it drags you down further into the depths of your self-hatred, into the depths of the scarcity paradigm. You're submerging more into this universe of pain and lack and scarcity and harshness. You're really, really anchoring in and living there. You're like doubling down because you've done the behavior you dislike and now you're hating yourself for it, and it turns into this bigger and bigger monster, okay? So breathe, blow it away. Whew. I have to throw that energy off of myself. When you've decided enough is enough, I cannot live like this anymore. I hate the way this feels all the time. You may do the same behavior. You might have the same exact situation take place. And when you notice it and you don't like it, instead of using it as an opportunity to hate yourself, you're going to anchor into the phrase, be gentle with yourself. And you're going to go, I don't know what the fuck that means. And I'll tell you, you're going to go, okay, I'm seeing myself doing something that I don't like. I must be feeling awful right now. What can I do to care for myself in this moment so I stop feeling so awful, so I stop acting this way? How can I saturate myself with some love or kindness or gentleness or abundance of whatever feeling I'm lacking in order to cushion myself so I can stop feeling this terrible way that perpetuated the bad behavior to begin with? Does this make sense? So instead of saying, I did something wrong, I deserve punishment, I hate myself, hate, negative, you go, okay, something happened. That's a sign I'm not okay. I have to do what it takes to make myself feel okay again. What do I need to do to feel okay in this moment? Some examples of this are, I need to stop engaging with a negative person. You have no idea how often that is the answer, and yet it takes so long for us to realize, oh shit, every time I engage with this person, it's negative and harmful to me. Or, oh shit, I'm lured back into another argument or another cycle, and it just brings me down. Stop engaging. Remove negative people to whatever extent you can. Okay? What else could I possibly need? A lot of times I need to stop engaging. I need to just remove myself. It's things like I need to take a walk. I need to breathe. I need to write in my journal. I need to listen to a song that reminds me of who I am. Okay? Music is this magnificent thing where it can shift us. And when we're stuck in scarcity and negativity, we use it to shift us back farther and farther down in this rabbit hole of how terrible we are. But if we're trying to live in abundance, and if we're trying to live in love, and we're trying to get back in touch with who we truly are inside, we can use music to help us feel better and uplifted, even if we don't believe that we deserve it. I want you to be in the habit of treating yourself with love, even if you're not sure that you deserve it. because deserve is this whole made-up concept anyway. But you can't see that until you get to this place of willingness to love yourself. So that's an act of trust. Because how's hating yourself working out for you anyway? It's probably not, okay? So let's love ourselves. Let's listen to music that helps us remember who we are or feel better. Talk to people who remind you of who you are, okay? Eat something that you like. Drink a warm drink. Rest. All of these things, ask somebody who you love, who you feel safe with, to give you a hug. That's a good one. All of these behaviors are things that if you do them from a negative internal state, you can do them to harm yourself. But if you do them from a positive internal state, they help support you in becoming more of who you are, in becoming okay. See, it's never just the behavior. It's never just the actual physical task that you're doing that will shift you. It's always the intention behind it. And so, can you listen to music with the intention of feeling better? Yes, that will help. If you listen to music with the intention of feeling worse, you'll feel worse. Can you take a walk with the intention of clearing your head? Yes. Can you take a walk with the intention of stewing on something and getting angrier about it? Yes. Okay? Can you ask for a hug with the intention of feeling love and connection to another human? Yes. Can you ask for a hug and then hate yourself for needing the hug in the first place? Yes. Being gentle with yourself is a mindset. It's all about willingness. It's all about willingness, and to a degree, it's about fatigue. Because we just can't stand hating ourselves anymore. We just can't stand the world in which everything is scarcity. See, you come to a crossroads, and at that crossroads, your choice is as follows. I cannot take it anymore. I'm going to change. I cannot take this feeling. I cannot take this hardship. I cannot take this pain. I cannot take this self-hatred. I cannot take this world of just nothing feeling okay. I can't do it. So I'm going to change. Or the other path on that crossroads is, I cannot take it anymore. I'm going to become dark and angry and full of rage, and I myself am going to become that world as well and perpetuate it and think that I have zero control and make it like that for everybody else. Those are really your choices. You can either decide that you've reached your limit and come to a point where you change and you say, enough. I am not going to live like this anymore. And you start to learn how to be gentle towards yourself, one step at a time. You don't need to do it all at once. You can make mistakes and it's okay. Or you feel like you can't and you decide to become the thing that has tried to destroy you. Now, of course, I hope that anybody watching this will understand that it's easy to get off that path, okay? It's not simple, but it's easy. It's just a matter of making the decision to love yourself enough to stop living in that world anymore. So how do we be gentle with ourselves? Well, we ask ourselves the following question. Can I see myself as someone who is worthy of love in this moment? Can I see the way in which I need love in this moment? Because whenever we are not feeling okay inside, it's because we need love. Even when we're not behaving appropriately, it's because we need love, okay? Course in Miracles, which is not something that I'm that into, but the Course in Miracles has this nice little phrase that I like in these situations, and it says everything is either love or a call for love. When you see or feel yourself not being okay, that's a call for love from yourself to yourself. How can you make a different choice? Instead of hating yourself, How can you give yourself what you need in that moment? Often we know the exact things we need. We just don't know how to let ourselves give those things to ourselves. We just don't know how to say, I need to stop fighting for a second and take a break. It's literally usually that easy. We don't know how to say, I really need some space. I really need to go for a walk. I can't do this anymore. We don't know how to say, I have to find another job. And then to do it. We let fear tell us that everything's always going to be this one way. But I want to tell you a secret. If you are feeling like you want to be gentle to yourself, if you are feeling like you're ready to learn to love yourself, that's it. That's the sign. That's the indicator that not everything has to be this way. That not everything will always be this way. The very fact that you feel that sign, the very fact that you have that calling within you, the very fact that you believe that there is something else out there in the world that doesn't feel so terrible is all you need to know to move forward, because that is your sign. We cannot feel that which does not exist. And so the very fact that you know that it doesn't have to feel this way shows you that there is a world waiting with its arms wide open for you. The hardest part is for you to make the decision to love yourself enough to step into that world. Sometimes it's scary to choose love. Sometimes it's scary to choose safety. Sometimes we feel as if we have to stay in a world in which there's chaos and discomfort, and we believe that because that's all we've ever known. And at least it's like the devil we know. We're comfortable there. We don't know how to be gentle with ourselves. We don't know how to love ourselves. We don't know how to say, what if I'm not this terrible person? But I'm asking you to be very brave. And I'm reminding you that bravery doesn't feel like bravery in the moments when you're being brave. Bravery is frightening in the moments when you're doing it. It's not until later that you can look back and be like, oh my God, I was so brave. Self-work feels scary, but it's worth it because you're cushioning your life with love. You're saying, I have a feeling in my heart that there's something better than this, and I'm going to look for it. That's bravery. And I'm here to reassure you that yes, there is. I've walked this exact path. I've done this exact work. I've cried at night wondering if I was ever going to be worth any of the things that I wanted in my life, if I could ever have it, if I was ever going to believe that I wasn't this terrible person that I had been told my whole life that I was. I know this feeling very well. I know how hard it is to choose yourself, but I'm here to say it's worth every single battle because you're fighting a battle either way. And I'd much prefer you to be fighting the battle for yourself and for the future that you know you can have and for the world that you could live in that's loving and gentle and kind and beautiful, rather than to fight to stay in this world of fear and harshness and cruelty. So I'm speaking to you, anybody who has ever wondered, how do I cultivate self-love? How do I be kind to myself? How do I be gentle with myself? And I'm here to say the following. 1, you say, what if I'm willing to give myself love in this moment? What would that look like? What does love in my life in this moment look like? What do I need? And then 2, am I willing to do that? Because it might be one thing where you just need to know what you need, but you're not ready to do it yet. But at least you know. And then 2, take the step. Give yourself the thing that you need. Okay? Another way to do this is to say, who am I inside? If I was allowed to be my truest self, what would that be like? What would I be like? What do I secretly believe that the world is? What do I secretly wish that the world was like? Is it loving? Is it peaceful? Can there be joy? Can there be happiness? Can I have abundance? Can I have security? Can I have stability? I secretly want these things. What would happen if I acted like it was possible? What would I need to eliminate from my world? What would I need to call in? Having awareness about what you truly are and what you truly want your world to be is another way of being gentle with yourself, because it means that you're willing to know what it is that you want, and then you're willing to believe that it's possible, and then you're willing to make choices that are in alignment with those things, those truths about you. And every single time you feel yourself being mean to yourself, you stop. You just stop. You don't engage with self-abuse. Okay? So this is a good way to start. This is a good starting point for anyone learning self-love and anyone learning how to be gentle with themselves. Start here. Be willing. And if you're not willing, be willing to learn how to be gentle with yourself, how to take care of yourself. And please know the universe loves you with such abundance. The world loves you. There are people who love you. And there are people who are just waiting to welcome you on this other side where things don't feel so bad. That's where your family is. That's where your people are. Go find them.